Well, the first time that I ever met you, Clay, was at that first conference in Tulsa, and that was an incredible conference. And I was so impressed with just the whole thing, just the professionalism, you as a person, your business, your work ethic, and really just who you are. And I was very impressed with all of that. And I thought, gosh, this might be someone that I would really consider working with. Like maybe he could really help me. And that's really what got me interested because I was so impressed with just the professionalism of all of it. And I learned a lot. I come about once a year to a business conference, and I'd like to come more, but every year I try to come with my marketing girl with me. And we always learn something. We always learn something. And I think next year I'm going to bring my husband because he really needs to come too.
Okay, Thrive Nation, on today's show, I wanted to share with you a story about a good person who's growing a good business by treating their customers the way they want to be treated. She's a longtime client. We're honored to serve her and help her grow her business. And I want you to hear a great success story. So that being said, Dr. Stephanie, welcome on to the Thrivetime show. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Clay.
Well, first off, I'm going to pull up your website. So tell all the listeners, what's the name of your website so we can verify that you are, in fact, a real orthodontist?
Okay, my website is smileshollywood.com.
Okay, smileshollywood.com.
Smileshollywood.com. Yes.
I'm going to pull this up real quick here. And as I pull this up, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your background because you're doing really well. You're based in McKinney, Texas. When did you have that vision to become an orthodontist? Like what age were you where you thought, you know what? I want to become an orthodontist.
Well, that had to have been when I was visiting my own orthodontist, Dr. Jim Bowley, who's retired now, but was an awesome, great orthodontist and one of the greats, really. But what's funny is that I actually wanted to be a medical doctor first. And I used to go into his office and he'd say, Stephanie, you don't want to be a medical doctor. You want to be an orthodontist. And I said, no, I don't, Dr. Bowley. Why are you saying that? And he started telling me all of the great things about dentistry and why it's so great because you don't have to deal with people dying on you. You don't have to deal with sick people. You get to make people look amazing and beautiful by straightening their teeth, and you leave with happy patients. And he talked me into it, and I thought that sounds like a great job. So that's really how I became an orthodontist.
And you're in McKinney, Texas, right? So how long have you been an orthodontist in McKinney, Texas?
So I've been an orthodontist for 26 years, practicing in
26 years.
McKinney.
And when you went to medical school, what percentage of the time in medical school or dentistry school, dental school, did they spend teaching you how to market and or grow your own practice?
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Zero marketing skills.
Okay. And so one of the great things that I love about working with you is, we get to help you grow your business, but you get to be more of who you are. I mean, you get to help more patients and help more people create great smiles, and then we get to do some of the nitty gritty stuff that maybe isn't your highest and best use. And so I wanted to focus on some of the things we've been able to accomplish together over these few years here. First off, from a branding perspective, I really do feel like your website is first class. And from when I talk to Andrew, you're the coach who works with you, I'm always hearing that more and more patients are coming in from Google. Could you talk about that? How much of an impact does it have having maybe a rebranded or updated website and Google leads coming in?
It has had a huge difference, absolutely huge difference in our patient load coming in. And before I really wasn't tracking really well. And that's one of the things I learned from Thrivetime Business was how to track patients coming in, how to really how to see where they're coming from. And at the time, I really didn't know much about Google. And being an orthodontist for 26 years, I didn't really know a lot of. I kind of went through a time where I went through shock. It was really what I call culture shock because the old ways of marketing were not working anymore. And because I really didn't know about online marketing, I really didn't. I was still doing, phone book ads and magazine ads and all of these things. And so Thrivetime has really helped. I started out with 97 reviews. Now we have almost 600 reviews. And, it takes a long time to get those reviews and you have to really work diligently. And, Andrew was amazing. My coach, he's fantastic. Really really had to prod me sometimes because, sometimes I was like an old mule and just stuck my feet in and said, no, I don't want to do that. And he said, trust me, it works. And I just kept going and he kept pushing. And I tell you what, it's really working. We're getting a lot of patients from Google and it's fantastic.
Now, as far as gathering patients from the Google search results, there's a couple of things that have to happen. I mean, one, you've got to have the most content. There's four variables. One, you have to have the most original HTML content or text. Second, you have to have the most objective reviews from real customers. Third, your website has to be in constant mobile compliance, where we're updating the website to meet the current updated guidelines of the ever-evolving internet. And then we've got to make sure your website is canonically compliant, where it basically follows all Google's rules. How much has that helped your peace of mind, knowing that you have a team that's helping you update your website every month and that you don't have to do that?
It is a huge relief, an absolute huge relief, because I know that these things are being done. The SEO is being done properly. The backwriting under the website is being done properly and increasing, and we're relevant every single day. We're relevant because I know these things are happening. And before, I actually was trying to do some of these things on my own. And, I'm not the best writer. And then I realized, why am I doing this myself? Because honestly, I don't have the time. And so it's really a great relief to know that these things are being done and that they're working. And I saw when I first started with Thrivetime, I was probably 11 or 12. I was working with an SEO company at the time, and I was probably coming up 11 or 12, which is really the second page when somebody brings you up on the computer. But now I'm at 2, I'm at 3, I'm at 4, depending on the keywords. So
Yeah.
I couldn't be more happy.
And, again, if we do a search for orthodontist in McKinney, Texas, we can find you right there in the top 3. Also, after you move past the 3-pack or the top 3 there, we can also find your site in the search results. And again, it's not a result of luck. It's not a result of some sort of woo-woo plan. It's specific actionable processes. The next thing I want to talk about is just overall lead tracking and Dream 100 marketing. I think a lot of times people...
Okay.
Not you, but other people, entrepreneurs, none of our listeners, we might market based on feel. So if we feel like we're not getting enough leads, we might feel the need to go market. And if we feel like we're overwhelmed with leads, we might feel the need to not market. But one of the things that we try to teach to our wonderful clients like yourself is the importance of implementing a consistent and implementable plan, a consistent and practical plan. Could you talk about the importance of tracking your leads and then also just consistently doing those marketing systems like the Dream 100 that do produce fruit?
So the Dream 100 has really been a great addition. We were doing something similar to that, but really not with the concerted effort and doing it on a regular basis. We were kind of doing it a little more haphazardly. And I really have noticed a difference because when you are visiting dentist's office and you're developing a relationship with them and they are seeing you on a regular basis every week or every 2 weeks, the staff starts to remember you. And so, you never know, a patient may come in tomorrow and you just drop by their office with a goodie today, and then they are going to think of you whenever it's time to refer for an orthodontist. And that's really made a big change in our practice too. And we track every single one of those. So we know how many Dr. X sent over and we know how many Dr. Y sent over. So we know our top referrers and we know the ones that we need to kind of get to know better and help them send to us too.
There's somebody watching this right now who's a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, and they're going, I don't know if the Dream 100 works. What do you say to that person who's sitting down with you right now and they go, I just don't know if that works?
I say it definitely works. And you definitely do have to get out and meet the dentist yourself. At least one time, even if you just, some of the dentists I couldn't actually just go meet, to have lunch. They didn't have lunches. So I just actually went by the office myself. I took a little goodie with me, a muffin or something, and I'd go by maybe right before lunch and just introduce myself. And then when my gal would come by every week or every other week to deliver things to their office, they at least knew who I was. I had introduced myself, and we found that we started getting patients that way. So it definitely helps.
Now, next thing I want to talk about is hiring. And I don't know if you've ever felt like this. I'm sure you haven't. It's probably just me. But
Uh,
whenever you have a garden that you plant, I'll pull up a picture of a garden so we can all picture it in our minds. Whenever you plant a garden, there's probably some initial excitement. You go, you know what? I'm going to plant these tomatoes. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get after it. This is my year. I'm going to get the garden going. I'm excited. I'm going organic. Let's go. Well, what happens is over time, people stop pulling the weeds, they stop tending to the garden, and over time, the garden becomes like an overgrown monster garden. The garden starts to become something that looks like a mistake, something that looks like a uh-oh, something where your neighbors say, "Are you going to mow that thing?" And it gets bad. And the same thing is true with employees. If
mhm.
you have a team of people that work for you on your payroll and you're a business owner, it turns out that the average American today, for whatever reason, and I'm going to pull up some stats here so people don't think I'm crazy. The U.S. Chamber reports that 75% of employees steal from the workplace. What? That's the U.S. Chamber reporting that 75% of employees steal from the workplace. And you might say, really? Yeah. And 85% of employees lie on resumes, meaning that they just make up some statistic on their, they throw it on their resumes. And 85% of employees are, again, are lying on their resumes. I'm pulling this up here, folks. But there's a certain group of employees that they just lie on the resumes, called 85% of job applicants lie on the resumes. And 75% of employees steal from the workplace. So in your business, you have a great staff and you want to keep it that way. So you can't hire the thieves. You can't hire people that lie on their resumes. So that
Yes.
85% of the population that lies on the resumes, they can't work for you. And that 75% of the population that steals from the workplace, they can't work for you either because you want to wow your customers. Can you talk about embracing the processes that we teach of the ongoing hiring processes and just always recruiting new people?
Absolutely. So we have taken on really the task of making sure that we have every single day at any one time, there is going to be an ad out there for any position in our office. And, occasionally we'll have somebody come in and we'll have them, just do a little half a day or something. And what's really interesting is that even my employees, even when I'm not needing someone, my employees will be like, why are we having somebody come in, do a working interview? And everybody gets really nervous, but it actually also helps them get on their best behavior again. So, but it's like if you always have someone waiting in the wings, then should you have someone that drops off, maybe their husband gets transferred and they're a wonderful employee, but it's just now they have to move and now you've got someone that you can hire. Or if you have someone that's like what happened in my office where, it was a inventory day and doctors weren't there and she decided to go work out and hang out with her boyfriend for 5 hours and then forgot to clock out, So that's called stealing.
Yeah,
So,
and and recently, and these are just real examples I'm sharing with people. I've had some of my really, really nice employees. Two of them decided to have a baby and start a family, and so I'm not going to hold an
yes,
employee hostage. I'm not mad that they decided to move on, but you get to a place where if you're not careful, folks, you're going to find yourself in a kind of a defensive posture where you're not going to be able to cover the appointments, the obligations, the customers that are reaching out to you. So if you're out there today, hiring has got to be a process and not an event. So again, just recapping: the branding, the marketing, the search engine optimization, the hiring, the tracking. I want to talk about retargeting ads. Retargeting ads, whenever somebody goes to your website, we've got to have ads that follow people around the internet. So that way people constantly see Smiles Hollywood, Smiles Hollywood, Smiles Hollywood. And
yes.
that creates top of mind awareness. Can you talk about how important it is for you to know that you have a team of people thinking about those kind of things? So again, you don't have to.
Absolutely. And I think just being a Thrivetime customer really makes you feel like you're taken care of in so many different areas because I didn't even know what those ads were when I when I first became a client. I didn't even know. I remember thinking, I wonder how you get to have an ad when you're going to your bank account and then all of a sudden this thing pops up, for some brand of sunglasses that you were just looking at. I thought, how do you get those ads? How do you even find out about them? And so these are the ads that you guys fixed us up with, and they're fantastic. And I do know that they do bring in patients.
Now, coaching is an ongoing process. Every week, Andrew meets with you. Every week, I know this might sound shocking for folks out there, but every single morning, our coaches have to meet with me at 6 in the morning. And I ask them every morning, I say, how's your client doing? And I go over all 160 clients. It's a real thing. I go over 40 clients every single day. I go over the checklist of all 40 clients every day. And we do that you do every single morning. So every week we review the files of all 160 clients to make sure you guys are thriving, you're growing, you're not backsliding, everyone's doing well. Could you talk about the importance of having somebody who, A, helps you track, but also kind of pushes you to be your best?
Well, that has been a lifesaver because honestly, well, I kind of learned it on myself because Andrew was good about pushing me and he would say, okay, well, did you meet with your staff about this or that? And I said, oh, yeah, I didn't quite do that. And so he was really good about reminding me that I needed to meet with my staff once a week or once a day, whatever it was, depending on the item. But I found, like, for instance, with my front desk girl, she was fantastic, but she was supposed to be following up on leads. She was supposed to have a lead list. And so every week I would call her and say, hey, how's that lead list? And I would actually have Andrew on the phone with me and we would talk and she kind of would say, oh yeah, they're good. And, and then finally, I think she got it. She realized I need a list. And so I think she realized Dr. Crise is going to ask me every week and I better get organized here. And so she actually came up with her own lead list in her own little system, which was fantastic, by the way, and has helped us tremendously at the front desk. And anytime we go over the lead list, because I have about 3 employees that have lead lists, different kinds of lead lists, and she is fantastic. I never have to worry about her lead list. The other 2, I have to check theirs, and that's the thing is I think you start to really hold your employees accountable, and Andrew helps hold me accountable and make sure that I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing because let's face it, life gets busy, and I mean, I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I have all kinds of other things going on too. And so I want to have a thriving business, but you have to put the work into your business. And it's nice to have someone there prodding me along when I get lazy.
Now, you're one of these wonderful folks where, most of our clients, they actually come to the workshops. They also do coaching. And so you're somebody who's been to the conferences. You do the weekly coaching. You've seen the whole experience. I guess, some people describe our coaching system as life-changing or they focus on the numbers. How would you describe how the one-on-one coaching in conjunction with the conference has impacted maybe you and or your business?
Well, the first time that I ever met you, Clay, was at that first conference in Tulsa. And that was an incredible conference. And I was so impressed with just the whole thing, just the professionalism, you as a person, your business, your work ethic, and really just who you are. And I was very impressed with all of that. And I thought, gosh, this might be someone that I would really consider working with. Like maybe he could really help me. And that's really what got me interested because I was so impressed with just the professionalism of all of it. And I learned a lot. I come about once a year to a business conference, and I'd like to come more, but every year I try to come with my marketing girl with me. And we always learn something. And I think next year I'm going to bring my husband because he really needs to come too. And he's been going along with this with me and he's thinking, wow, this is really working for you. Maybe I need to come. So we've loved it.
So if somebody's watching right now, they're on the website, they go to thrivetimeshow.com, they're thinking about scheduling a free consultation or they're thinking about coming to a workshop. What do you say to somebody out there that's on the fence, thinking about coming to a conference and or scheduling a free 13-point assessment?
Well, I say absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. And I will say that it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you stay the course, you're going to see results because I'm absolutely convinced.
Dr. Crise, thank you for allowing us to take up some of your valuable time today. I really do appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in person here soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Clay.
Take care. Bye-bye. JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Whoa. During the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, 2024, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. Yes, folks, put it in your calendar. This December, the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business growth workshop. Whoa. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow is going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Folks, I'm telling you, if you want to learn branding, you want to learn marketing, you want to learn search engine optimization, you want to learn social media marketing, that's what we teach at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop. If you want to learn accounting, you want to learn sales systems, you want to learn how to build a linear workflow, you want to learn how to franchise your business, that is what we teach at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to feature Michael Levine, the PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson. We've had the top PR consultant in the history of the planet has spoken at the Thrivetime Show workshops. We've had Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, a company that creates apparel worn by celebrities all throughout the world. Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, has spoken at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshops. We have had the man who's responsible for turning around Harley Davidson, a man by the name of Ken Schmidt. He has spoken at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops. Folks, I'm telling you, these events are going to teach you what you need to know to start and grow a successful business. And the way we price the events, the way we do these events, is you can pay $250 for a ticket or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, we've designed these events to be affordable for you, and we want to see you live and in person at the 2-day interactive December 5th and 6th Thrivetime Show Business Workshop. Everything that you need to succeed will be taught at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Workshop, December 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the way we do these events is we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a question and answer session so that wonderful people like you can have your questions answered. Yes, we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a 15-minute question and answer session. It's interactive. It's 2 days. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been doing these events since 2005, and I'm telling you, folks, it's going to blow your mind. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop is America's highest rated and most reviewed business workshop. See the thousands of video testimonials from real people just like you who've been able to build multi-million-dollar companies. Watch those testimonials today at thrivetimeshow.com. Simply by clicking on the testimonials button right there at thrivetimeshow.com, you're going to see thousands of people just like you who've been able to go from just surviving to thriving. Whoa. Each and every day, we're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup, but I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And so it says Tulsa, Jerusalem. It's I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrivetime Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done this show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
Well, first of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, "Have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?" And I said, "No." And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed to the business owner to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you thank you, sir, for changing my life.
Well, not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, "I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this."
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.